You can get 8 credit cards with only one hard credit pull. There's a few credit card companies that let you sign up for multiple cards in a certain window of time and only pull your credit report one time. A lot of people call it a double dip or a combined hard pull. And one of the largest credit card companies will only pull your credit for the very first credit card you open with them. After that, your credit report will never be pulled again. Now, you should know when it comes to your credit score, hard inquiries will lower it for a short time, but they only affect your score for a year and they completely fall off after 24 months. Also, some lenders don't even use FICO scores to evaluate you at all. So even though hard inquiries can temporarily drop your score, different lenders have different ways of judging your credit worthiness, like using your own internal scores and your credit report. Let's start with Bank of America. Applications for your personal Bank of America cards within 30 days will be combined into one hard pull. I found a few people that experienced the exact same thing too. The first person said, Bank of America is still combining hard inquiries. I applied for the premium rewards card and was instantly denied. An hour later though, I placed a freeze on my credit report with all agencies and then applied for the customized cash card. The customized cash rewards card was approved instantly. A few minutes later, I tried applying for the premium rewards card again and it was instantly approved too. I have yet to receive a letter explaining the reason for the initial denial though. Now, you should know I recently learned from a large back office executive that credit card companies will judge your credit worthiness based on individual products. So maybe that's why they were denied for the premium rewards card initially, but then instantly approved for the lower tier card. The approval of the second try is confusing though. You think Bank of America would make them wait a while before applying again, but they got through. Now, the next person said, I applied for the Bank of America Premium Rewards card in November and they pulled my Experian credit report back then. I just applied for another customized cash rewards card and got approved in under 30 days. There was no notification of any hard pull reported on Experian. It seemed like Bank of America's practice of combining hard pulls still applies. And yet another person said Bank of America also combined 2 hard pulls when I opened 2 customized cash rewards cards in one night. The same thing happened to me this week. There was only one Experian pull for the Norwegian Cruise Line card and the Premium Rewards Elite card on the same day. And here's another data point for you. They said, I am a 40-year-old professional working full-time with an annual income of $102,000. I decided to apply for 2 Bank of America cards, hoping to double dip and get hit with just one hard pull. Luckily, I got approved for the Bank of America Premium Rewards card with a $16,000 credit limit and the Cash Rewards card with a $7,000 credit limit. To my surprise, there was only one hard pull reported to Experian. Let's talk about application rules. Bank of America does not have a hard limit on the number of credit cards you can hold with them. However, they likely have a cap on the total credit limit that they're willing to extend to you based on your stated income and spending habits. In this case, you may need to lower your credit limits on certain cards in order to get approved for new ones. In terms of application restrictions, Bank of America does have the 2-3-4 rule, which allows you to be approved for 2 cards in a 2-month period, 3 cards in a 12-month period, and 4 cards in a 24-month period. This means you could apply for 2 Bank of America cards within the same month or even the same day. But if you apply for that 3rd card in a 2-month period, then you're going to be denied. And getting denied is so painful. When you see that message that says, unfortunately, we are unable to approve your application at this time, and you'll receive a letter in 7 to 10 business days, you don't want to hear that. You're just disappointed because you were counting on getting the additional credit to help boost your score, and you were counting on getting that intro bonus too. That bonus is like free money that you're missing out on. And worst of all, you're upset because you know that hard credit pull is going to hit your FICO score next month and drop it at least a few points. That's why I really like what the SoFi credit card is doing. They guarantee approval, or if you get denied, they won't hard pull your credit. So you'll never be left empty-handed because when you apply for the SoFi card, there's no chance of a negative impact. Plus, it comes with a $50 sign-up bonus, 3% cash back on travel through SoFi, 2% back elsewhere, and $800 worth of cell phone protection. And I've been using the SoFi credit card for over 4 years now, and they gave me a $10,000 credit limit. So definitely hit the link below to apply with no chance of a hard pull if you don't get approved. Next, let's talk about how US Bank usually does only one inquiry if you apply for 2 cards within the same day. And I have a few data points on it. First person said, I got 1 card and then 2 on the same day in 2021. In 2022, I was denied for 1 card and approved for another on the same day. and then approved for another 2 weeks later. None were instant approvals, and I received separate fraud verification calls for every card due to a weird address, which happens often. They combined inquiries made on the same day, but not those made 3 days apart. And the next person said, I recently applied for the US Bank Cash Plus and Altitude Go and discovered that my applications resulted in only one hard pull. I first applied for the Altitude Reserve at 8:15 a.m. on March 7th and was pleased to receive an approval email by 11:30 a.m., granting a $5,000 credit line. I was eager to receive my card quickly, so I called customer service for my existing Altitude Go at 12:07 p.m. and successfully expedited the delivery to just 2 days. Later that day at 1:27 p.m., I applied for the Altitude Connect. My reserve card arrived swiftly via FedEx on the morning of March 9th. Over the next few days, I received several emails regarding the Altitude Reserve, but nothing about the Connect application. Interestingly, a letter I received on March 14th mentioned my credit pull, but did not indicate a second pull for the Connect application. I believe this suggests that US Bank either combined my hard pulls or didn't need a second pull on the same day. Now, most other data points show that US Bank pulls from Experian, but remember this, that can strongly depend on your location. They do not have a hard limit on the number of cards you can hold with them, but rather the total amount of credit they are willing to extend to you, just like Bank of America and Chase does. And US Bank only has one application rule, and it is only applied to their US Bank Altitude Reserve Visa Infinite card. The rule states that US Bank wants you to have a prior relationship, either through another credit card or a bank account, before they approve you for the Altitude Reserve card. Let's move on to PenFed. It's generally accepted that PenFed will use the same pull for up to 90 days. A few people have reported that it's been reduced to 30 days, but either way, you should be fine to apply for a second credit card, loan, or personal line of credit with one hard pull. The first person said, I inquired with them after shopping for auto loan rates last week. They mentioned that they use the same credit report for 90 days for all products. I'm considering getting a new credit card from them. The next person said, this is about my husband's experience with PenFed, but I wish I had tried this when I received my approval a few months ago, and I was denied for too many inquiries. So we decided to wait for a while. A few months ago, I took a chance and applied for the Platinum Rewards card and was approved for a $12,000 limit. Last Sunday, we decided to try again for my husband. He has obtained 5 new cards in recent months, including Apple, Marvel, Ebates, Ducks Unlimited, and a Citi card. He applied for the Power Cash Rewards card and it was pending, but just 15 minutes later, he received the approval email with a $10,000 starting limit. We were thrilled. Then I read about people managing to get 2 cards from PenFed with just one hard pull, but the information was mixed. It seemed like the best chance was to apply for them the same day. So about an hour later, he applied for the Promise Visa. Again, it went under review and there were no additional hard pulls. We heard nothing all Sunday, but by Tuesday, the Power Cash Rewards appeared in his online account. The Promise Card application was still under review. We didn't receive any calls or emails, but when we checked the next day, the Promise Card was also there with a $10,000 limit. So he got 2 cards with just one hard pull. Honestly, I think I'm even more excited about this than he is. And then the next person said, last week, the love button appeared on my PenFed Power Cash Rewards Visa cards. I have 2 of them. My credit line increased from $3,500 to $20,000 with one hard pull. Since hard pulls from PenFed are valid for 30 days, I decided to request a credit line increase on my other PenFed Power Cash card, and my credit limit went from $3,500 to $20,000. So here's what you should know about PenFed's rules. When it comes to applying for credit cards, PenFed pulls from Equifax for credit card applications. And you might be wondering if there's a limit on how many cards you can have. There is no strict limit. I've even heard some folks having up to 3 cards with PenFed. And guess what? You can have duplicate cards too. But like usual, there's a catch. They have a cap on the total amount of credit PenFed will extend to you across all your cards. The most recent data points that I've come across suggest that the limit is around $50,000. Next, Amex truly has by far the best policy when it comes to hard inquiries. One person got approved for 8 Amex cards with just one hard credit pull. And that's because Amex credit inquiries will be combined for same-day applications as long as they are both approved on the same day. And for many existing Amex customers, Amex will not do a hard credit pull when applying for a new credit card. Now, for my first data point, they said, from my own experience, only the first card incurs a hard pull, while the subsequent cards result in a soft pull. Then another person said, I got the gold card in December, the platinum in January, the blue business preferred in February, and the green in March. There was only one hard pull for the first card. I had a Blue Cash Everyday card open in 2016 that was closed in early 2020 due to inactivity. So I no longer had an Amex account when I applied for the Gold, which explains the first hard pull. Interestingly, even with a gap in membership, my cards indicate that I've been a member since 2016. And this person said I have 8 Amex cards, 7 of which were obtained in the past 6 months. There wasn't a single hard pull after my first Amex card in March of 2020. Now, for me, I gotta say I've had the same experience with Amex. I got approved for the Amex Blue Business Cash card in December of 2022 with a hard pull from Experian. And then I got the Amex Amazon Business card in January of the next year with just a soft credit pull. I found for most people, Amex pulls from Experian most of the time and limits customers to having a total of 5 Amex credit cards open at any one time. This includes both personal cards and business credit cards, but does not apply to their charge cards. This is not to say that it's impossible to have more than 5 credit cards with Amex, as there's always going to be outliers and exceptions, but those cases are few and far between. So if you currently have 5 or more Amex credit cards, you're extremely unlikely to be approved for another card. However, there's no limit on the number of charge cards you can have open at one time. Also, you're limited to 1 approved credit card every 5 days and 2 approved credit cards every 90 days. This rule only applies to credit cards and not charge cards with Amex. So given that, you can apply for 1 credit card and 1 charge card on the same day, but if you apply for 2 credit cards, the second application will most likely get denied. These large credit card companies have so many rules about how they judge applications and how they choose who gets what credit limit. That's why it was so interesting when 3 credit card company employees gave advice on approvals, limit increases, disputes, and late fees. They answered 90 questions, including 3 persuasive lines you can use with customer service to convince them to increase your credit limit, and the 8 criteria they look for when deciding to approve your application. You can find all the details in the next video, and thank you for watching.